High School worsened. More families have added their names to a lawsuit alleging acts of hazing that include sexual assault. NBC5's Christian Farr has the latest.
While wearing a cap and sunglasses to hide her identity, the mother of a former Maine West High School baseball player expresses emotion while talking about the hazing her son suffered at the hands of his teammates.
He was pinned against the lockers in the locker room by a group of children. His pants were ripped down, his boxers were repeatedly ripped down, and he was exposed repeatedly.
That mother has joined a lawsuit filed by the parents of 3 other students who say they were also hazed while playing on the Maine West High School soccer team.
All 4 are admitting that they were sexually assaulted in one way, shape, form, or another.
Tony Romanucci represents all of the victims and says the accusations of hazing at Maine West stem back to 2007, with the latest happening at the beginning of this year, involving one of those soccer players whose mother spoke out earlier this month.
I feel like the coaches should have kept them safe on the soccer field, and they didn't do that.
I've been getting multiple inquiries and phone calls from people saying, my child was hazed, and please make sure this doesn't happen to any more kids.
The mother of the baseball player who just joined the lawsuit says her son was hazed during his freshman year in 2008 and says the district did nothing except honor her request to transfer her son out of Maine West.
He was having panic attacks. He was unable to function in a school environment. He was having horrific problems when he transferred schools.
In a statement, the district says that it just found out on November 16th of this year about the 2008 incident involving the freshman baseball player. But Romanucci says the district should have known about it since the student was transferred. The district says it's investigating all of the hazing allegations. In Des Plaines, Christian Farr, NBC5 News.
And joining us now to talk more about this is the lawyer representing the families in the lawsuit that you just saw in the piece, Antonio Romanucci. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Mary.
Now, I want to mention that the school district did come out with a revised statement, and in it they said that they were aware of correspondence from 2008 involving the mother and the school, but the statement suggests that the current superintendent did just learn about it in 2012, and he's only been the superintendent since 2009. So it is a little vague, though. They say they're aware of correspondence between the mother and the school administrators, suggesting perhaps the district never got the information. What's your reaction to that part of the statement?
They're splitting hairs. The bottom line is they knew. They knew it was wrong in 2008. They knew it was wrong in 2007, just like it's wrong in 2012. The letter was delivered to the school in August of 2008. The district then made the transfer of this particular student from Maine West to Maine East. The district makes the transfer, not the school. So for the district to come and say they were just made aware of this is totally false.
And how many families, you say other couple have joined the lawsuit now, but how many have contacted you?
Literally probably a dozen. A dozen people have contacted me. So many people are coming forth, just wishing the best for the families that are involved in the current litigation. Families are coming forth with more information about what's been happened, either what's happened to them or what they know about what has happened to other children. So the reaction has been tremendous.
And you're hearing from other students from other sports as well, swimming, water polo?
Well, as you know, in this current lawsuit that was filed today, we added baseball as a sport where the abuse took place, and now it seems that it's permeating into some of the water sports of swimming and water polo too.
What do you think's at work here? Is this just a culture that's specific to Maine West, or what's going on, do you think?
Well, certainly we know that it's a culture at Maine West. We know that it's permeated more than one sport, more than 1 year, over a number of years. There are coaches that are involved. There are supervisors, principals, and superintendents who are aware and haven't done enough to protect children. And we know that if you don't protect children, there are consequences to that. There are parallels here, Marion. There are parallels to Penn State. And certainly the parallel is, you look at what happened to Joe Paterno. He turned a blind eye, favoring the sport over the individual student, over the sake of the student, and look at the tragedy that happened. This should not happen on a national level, a local level, or to anyone.
When you say that the coaches were involved in this, what kind of involvement are you talking about? Are you talking about turning a blind eye? Are you talking about knowing what's going on, specifically witnessing it going on? What exactly are you alleging?
We're alleging that the coaches not only turned a blind eye, but sanctioned the conduct. We're not suggesting that the coaches were actually involved, physically involved in the conduct, but the coaches knew what was going on, they were aware of it, and they did nothing to stop it.
And what is your earliest, any of the people that may have contacted you, what's the earliest you're seeing of the allegations?
As of right now, 2006.
Okay.
So the litigation has it as 2007, but now as I speak to you, I can go back to 2006.
Are there any specific coaches or athletic directors? I mean, how could this permeate so many different sports? Do you believe, or what are you sort of hearing from people making these allegations?
Well, you know, I hate to repeat it again, but if there's a culture, if there becomes an acceptance of a habit or some sort of activity, then it does, you know, it transcends not only to one person, but it becomes sanctioned. It becomes okay for somebody else to do it. So if the coaches allow it to happen, and in that letter that we disclosed today, there was an allegation that one of the coaches was making references to his own sexual prowess to the children. So if the kids hear this, we know that even teenagers, we think they're old, but they're not. They're going to pick up that conduct and think that it's sanctionable, and then they'll do it themselves.
And real quickly, any evidence this is going on at Maine East or any of the other schools, even in the general region?
I haven't heard anything from any of the other.
Maine West.
I haven't heard anything from the east or the south campus right now. It's been looks like it's being contained at Maine West and with certain individuals.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I know we'll be following this story for quite a while.
Thank you very much, Marion. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Still more to talk about.